Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive deep into the work of a Filipino philosopher who asked one of the biggest questions there is. What does it truly mean to be human?
I mean, really think about that for a second. Are you who you are in a total vacuum? Or are you shaped, defined, and maybe even completed by your connections to everyone and everything around you? And that's exactly where Florentino Hornedo comes in. He spent his life wrestling with this question, and he came up with a philosophy that pretty much turns the whole idea of an isolated individual self on its head. So let's get into it.
So, back to that big question. Can we exist alone? Well, for Hornedo, the answer was a loud, clear, absolutely not. He argued that our very humanity, the very core of who we are, is built on our relationships.
In this quote, this really gets to the heart of his whole philosophy. Hornedo is saying that a meaningful life isn't about finding some sort of external, objective truth out there. No, meaning is something we create and discover inside the web of our connections, with our family, our friends, our community.
Which brings us to his most famous idea, the person for others. Now, this is way more than just, being nice. It's the idea that becoming fully human isn't something you do on your own. It's a project we can only take on with and for other people. We aren't just social creatures by chance. Being connected is what actually makes us who we are.
Okay, so if we're all fundamentally connected, what does that do to something we think of as super personal, like our freedom? Well, Hornedo's take on this is both fascinating and honestly a little challenging.
He saw freedom as this kind of autonomous energy. It's not just about being free from things, like rules or whatever. It's a positive power you have to act, to create, to change things. And here's the kicker. That power isn't something you're just supposed to hoard for yourself. It's meant to be shared, used to help everyone develop and to fight for justice.
This is just such a powerful way to put it. In the original Filipino, it's ang pagpapalaya ay pagbigay lakas pagbigay kakayahan. What that means is to set free is to empower, to grant capabilities. So real freedom isn't just about breaking your own chains. It's about handing someone else the tools to break theirs.
So how do we actually do that? Hornedo breaks it down into 3 basic actions. First, we have to respond. The word is managot, which means we're responsible for the needs we see around us. Second, we have to participate. Makisangkot, get involved. Don't just be a bystander. And third, we have to share. Gamitin ang lakas, which literally means use your strength, your power, to lift other people up.
Now, all of this responding, participating, sharing, it all builds toward what Hornedo saw as the absolute peak of our social lives, a kind of love that is built on the bedrock of justice.
And there's a really beautiful word for this in Filipino, pagmamahal. But for Hornedo, this is so much more than a fuzzy feeling. It's an active, conscious, powerful decision to affirm the incredible value of another person.
This comparison just illustrates it perfectly. See, pagmamahal comes from the root word mahal, which means valuable or expensive. So to love someone is to treat them as precious. And the exact opposite? That's pagmumura, to curse at someone, to insult them. It literally means to make them cheap, to devalue them. So you see, for Hornedo, love is the act of seeing and defending the immense worth of another human being.
But, and this is a huge but, this kind of powerful love can't just exist in thin air. It has to be grounded in justice. Hornedo said that our rights aren't just ideas. They have to be protected by a community that agrees every single member has value. So when we stand up for those rights, when we ensure justice, we're actually creating the kind of society where this kind of transformative love can grow, where everyone actually gets a chance to flourish.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds really profound and maybe a little demanding. So what does it actually look like in the real world? How do we take this from a cool idea to something we actually do?
Well, maybe the best example we can find is Florentino Hornedo himself. He was absolutely not some armchair philosopher. His own life was pretty much a masterclass in his own ideas. You see, people who knew him said that even though he never had kids of his own, he was like a father figure to relatives and even to people who were, quote, complete strangers. And here's this small but amazing detail. He was known for picking up stray, injured animals off the street and taking them home to nurse them back to health.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This huge idea of being a person for others isn't always about massive, world-changing gestures. It's built on a foundation of simple, everyday acts of care and solidarity, of seeing value in others, whether they're people or animals,
and just responding to their need.
So, as we wrap this up, Hornedo's philosophy leaves us with a question that points right back at us. This isn't just an academic exercise, it's a challenge. In your own life, in your family, in your community, in your day-to-day. How are you living not just for yourself, but as a person, for others?